It's time to introduce the real protagonist of the McDonald story, Ray Kroc. Despite coming from humble beginnings, Ray had a lot of ambition even as a young kid. While his mother was at home giving piano lessons to help out with the finances, she ordered him to help out with regular housework, but she never caught Ray complaining. Instead, Ray took pride in making beds, sweeping the floor, and scrubbing the furniture until it shined. In his spare time, he was taught to play the piano, and with unwavering discipline, he mastered it from an early age. But when he was 15, the United States joined World War I, and Ray couldn't bear sitting at home as his fellow countrymen risked their lives. So he lied about his age and managed to get deployed as an ambulance driver for the Red Cross. By sheer coincidence, he worked right alongside Walt Disney. When Ray returned home, he was still in high school, but he had enough. Not 6 months later, his parent couldn't do much to stop him from dropping out. He was determined to make it out on his own as a piano player, so he took the streets and make a living by his talents. When he was 20, Ray went against his parents' wishes again and got married. He understood that this was a big responsibility though, and he had to take care of his wife Ethel. So for this time in his life, he decided to get a stable job. He found it at the Lily Cup Company where he sold paper cups. Since he was energetic and charismatic, Ray took naturally to sales. By day, he scored the state chasing leads. By the night, he still played piano for a radio station. When he finally made at home, he fell into bed exhausted. Ethel did soon become frustrated by the limited time Ray had to spend with her though. And when she told Ray she was pregnant, he knew he had to rethink his strategy. The piano got him paid, but it would never be enough to support his family. Instead, he cultivated his ability as a salesman, and luckily from him, that was the right choice. Because of prohibition, hotels and bars began serving ice cream since they weren't allowed to sell liquor, and thus American food service businesses bought paper cups like crazy. Ray even found ways for companies to sell more of the products that used his paper cups. It was a win-win. His clients got more revenue, and he made more cup sales. But in October 1929, the stock market crashed, unleashing the Great Depression, and the growing economy of the United States came to a sudden stop. Ray's boss at Lily Cup sat him down at his office and told Ray that he would have to take a pay cut. Ray's face turned red. "I can't accept that," he said. But Ray heard his boss explain to him that he didn't have an alternative. Ray said to hell with it and quit right on the spot. But when his wife Ethel found out, she felt Ray was betraying her and their newborn baby by quitting a stable job when they were in desperate need of money. So Ray went pleading to get his old job back, but his relationship to his boss was stained forever. When he returned to his job, one of his customers had invented a new milkshake machine called the multi-mixer, allowing for 5 milkshakes to be made at once. When Ray tasted the delicious new milkshakes it made, he saw an opportunity. If Lily Cup sold the multi-mixer as well, they would automatically sell more paper cups as the products went together perfectly. However, when Ray proposed the idea to his boss, he ridiculed him, saying a paper cup company shouldn't be selling milkshake machines. This time, Ray had really had enough and quit once again. He decided to start his own sales company to sell the multi-mixer instead. And he wasted no time getting started. He was up against tough economy with a family to feed and had to make money fast. Despite enormous adversities, Ray worked 14 hours a day and entertained potential clients late into the night. With a relentless work ethic and good product, he was soon driving all around the country selling thousands of multi-mixers per year, making a decent living. But just as soon as his effort began to pay off, America was thrust into World War II. Because of the war, most factories shifted their focus to supplying the army, and multi-mixers weren't getting made anymore. Ray was living his worst nightmare. He was a salesman without a product. To survive, he tried selling a bunch of different products until the Allies declared victory in 1945. But once the war ended, the market finally took a positive turn for Ray. With the baby boom following the war, ice cream became the all rage, and so did multi-mixers. Ray began selling them to the biggest franchise in America, such as Dairy Queen. However, this boom also meant that by the 1950s, newer and better products were entering the market and the multi-mixer was falling out of fashion. If Ray didn't find a winning product soon, he could be in serious financial trouble. But he then noticed something odd in his records. Surely it was a mistake. A tiny restaurant in a remote town 60 miles east of LA had ordered a grand total of 8 multi-mixers. Restaurants rarely bought more than one. What on earth they need 8 for? Ray's curiosity was too much for him to handle. He had to see for himself. So he took a trip to San Bernardino, California. Ray arrived early in the morning, but at the first glance, he was not impressed with McDonald's. But very quickly, the parking lot began to get busier and busier. Probably 150 people showed up. When Ray paid 15 cents for a hamburger and received it almost instantly, he couldn't believe it. Everything was clean. His burger was delicious. New customers came in every minute, and it was a family environment. Ray had never seen anything like it. He introduced himself to the McDonald brothers, and they told him about the operation. Ray immediately loved their speedy service system, and he finally understood why they needed 8 multi-mixers to operate. This was the most active and most efficient fast food operation he'd seen in his whole career. The brothers also told Ray that they were looking for a franchising agent, someone to build more McDonald's restaurants like this across the country and find operators to run them. The McDonald brothers enjoyed their simple life running this one store, and so they didn't want to do it themselves. But Ray knew that if more McDonald's restaurants like this one did open, they would also need a lot more multi-mixers. So he told the brothers to call him to help them franchising McDonald's. However, for the next week, Ray had trouble sleeping. His imagination ran wild as he was tormented by a vision of McDonald's potential. When he sold a multi-mixer, his client used the same one for 10 years. But McDonald's sold hamburgers to thousands of people every day. He knew he somehow had to get involved in this. He called Richard McDonald to ask if they'd found a franchising agent by now. They hadn't. So Ray asked, "Well, what about me?" Don't forget to give me a quick little follow for more trivia and stories on the big brands that you know and love.